Welcome to tutorial number 9. In this video, I will show you the geometry creation portion for tutorial number 9. The part is symmetric about the x-axis and the y-axis. That being said, we are going to create a quarter of the geometry and then mirror it about both axes. The first thing we will do is create circle center points. This will let us create circles knowing the center point and the radius or the diameter. Select Create, Arc, Circle Center Point. In the ribbon bar, enter a radius value of 1 and then click on the radius icon to lock it. From here, choose the fast point command and enter in the following coordinates: -1.25, 0. Once complete, press the apply button to continue. Press enter. Now choose the apply button to stay within the command. To view the entire geometry, select the fit icon. Again, choose the fast point command and input the following coordinates: 1.25, 0, and press enter. You can now select the OK button to exit this command. Again, select the fit icon to fit the geometry to the screen. Your part will appear as shown up to this point. Next, we will create line tangents. You will create a line tangent to two arcs. You will use the Create Line Endpoint command with a tangent icon enabled. From here, select Create, Line, Endpoint. In the ribbon bar, make sure that only the tangent icon is enabled. Also, make sure that you are not selecting the quadrant points while selecting the circles. Select Entity A and Entity B as shown. Once both entities have been selected, choose the OK button. Your geometry should look as shown. The next thing that we will do is create a line parallel. Select Create, Line, Parallel. Select the following line as shown, and then pick a point below this line. In the ribbon bar, change the distance to a value of 1.7. Press enter. Your line will be moved. You can now select the OK button to exit this command. From here, we need to trim the entities. You will trim the entities using the Trim 3 Entities command. The first two entities that you select are trimmed to the third, which acts as a trimming curve. The third entity is then trimmed to the first two. That being said, select Edit, Trim Break Extend. Ensure that the Trim 3 Entity icon is enabled. Also, ensure that the Trim icon is enabled. Now select the following entities in order as shown. Repeat this step for the other side of the part. You can now select the OK button to exit this command. Your part will appear as shown. We will now create rectangular shapes. In this step, you will create two rectangles using the Create Rectangular Shapes command. Select Create, Rectangular Shapes. The Rectangular Shapes Options dialog box will appear. Make the following changes. Enter a width of 0.275 and a height of 0.75. Also, change the anchor position to center. Now select the following circle center point as shown. Once complete, select the Apply button to stay within the command. In the Rectangular Shapes Options dialog box, click on the icons in front of the width and height to lock these values and enter a value of 90 degrees in the rotation field. Now select the same center point as shown. Once complete, select the OK button to exit this command. Your geometry should look as shown. We will now use the Trim Divide command. In this step, you will trim the entities using Divide, which trims a line, arc, or spline into two disjointed segments by removing the segment that lies between the two dividing intersections. When you choose the Divide Delete function and select an entity in the graphics window, Mastercam uses the nearest two intersections on each end to divide the entity. If only one intersection exists, the selected entity is trimmed to the single intersection. If no intersection is found on the selected entity, or the point of intersection is an endpoint of the selected entity, the entity is deleted. Select Edit, Trim Break Extend. Select the divide icon as shown. From here, delete the following lines by clicking on them. Once complete, select the OK button to exit the command. Your part will appear as shown up to this point. The next thing that we will do is fillet chain. In this step, we will fillet all the sharp edges of the shape using Fillet Chain command. Select Create, Fillet, Chains. Leave the Chain button enabled in the Chaining dialog box. Select the following chain as shown. You can now select the OK button to exit the Chaining dialog box. Input the following radius value, 0.075, and press Enter. Your radius should appear as shown. You can now select the OK button to exit the Fillet Chain command. Your part will appear as shown up to this point. Next, we will create the O'Brown shapes. In this step, you will create the two O'Brown shapes using the Rectangular Shapes command. Select Create, Rectangular Shapes. The first thing you need to do is unlock the values from the previous command. Now input the following width, height, and angle as shown. Lock these values. Change the angle to 35 degrees, select the O'Brown shape, and ensure that the anchor position is set to center. From here, choose the FastPoint command and input the following coordinates, 0, 0.25, and press Enter. Select the Apply button to stay within the command. Again, select the fast point icon and input the following coordinates: 0, negative 0.25, and press enter. You can now select the OK button to exit the Rectangular Shape Options command. Your part will appear as shown up to this point. The next thing that we will do is create circle center points. In this step, you will create the 4 1/4-inch diameter holes knowing the diameter and the center points. Select Create, Arc, Circle Center Point. In the ribbon bar, enter a diameter of 0.25 and make sure that this value is locked. You may need to unlock the previous values. Now choose the fast point icon and input the following coordinates: 1.25 minus 0.4, 0. Once the coordinates have been entered, press enter. You should note that Mastercam lets you perform basic mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. Select the Apply button to stay within the command. Again, select the fast point icon. This time, however, input the following coordinates: 1.25 plus 0.4, 0, and press enter. Press enter. Again, select the Apply button to stay within this command. Choose the fast point icon again and input the following coordinates: 1.25, 0.3, and press enter. Select the Apply button to stay within the command. And for the final time, select the fast point icon and input the coordinates 1.25, negative 0.3, and press enter. You can now select the OK button to exit this command. Your part will appear as shown up to this point. From here we will change the attributes. Specifically, in this step we will change the system color and level which the solid will be created on. This will be done to allow us to view our part easier. Left-click on System Color in the status bar. When the color dialog box appears, choose color number 12 or the color red. Once complete, select the OK button to exit the color dialog box. From here, left-click on Level in the status bar. When the Level Manager appears, below Number, input 2 and enter the name Solid. Once complete, select the OK button to exit the Level Manager. You should note that all the entities you will create will be on level number 2. In the status bar, you should see the system color is set to number 12 and the level will be set to 2. We will now extrude the base of the solid. Extruded function lets you extrude geometry to create one or more solid bodies, cuts on an existing body, or create bosses on an existing body. That being said, select Solids, Extrude. When the chaining dialog box appears, leave the default settings. From the graphics view, select Isometric. Now select the chain on the outside profile as shown. Also, select the 4 holes in the clockwise direction. If your arrow does not appear in the clockwise direction, select the reverse button shown here. My arrow has now been moved. Select the remaining holes as shown. Once the geometry has been chained, select the OK button. In the Extrude Chain dialog box, ensure Create Body is enabled and input a value of 0.5 to extend by specified distance. Once complete, select the OK button to create the solid. Use the icons found in the toolbars to shade or unshade the solid, or press Alt-S on your keyboard. Select the Fit icon to view the geometry. Your part will appear as shown. Unshade the solid. Now from the graphics view, choose Top. We will now cut the shapes. Again, select Solids, Extrude. When the chaining dialog box appears, leave the default settings. Now select the following chains in the clockwise direction as shown. Once complete, select the OK button to exit the chaining dialog box. From here, choose the Isometric Graphics view from the Graphics View toolbar. Make sure that all of the arrows are pointing downwards. In the Extrude Chain dialog box, enable Cut Body and input a distance value of 0.25. You can now select the OK button and the steps will be cut from the solid. Press Alt-S to shade the solid. Your part will appear as shown. The final thing that we will do is make Level 1 invisible. This will hide the 2D wireframe on your screen. Left-click on Level in the status bar as shown. When the Level Manager appears, left-click in the Visible column and remove the X. You can now select the OK button to exit the Level Manager. Your part will appear as shown. You can now save the file. This will complete the geometry creation portion for tutorial number 9. In the next video, I will show you how to select the machine and set up the stock.